when you're streaming your event, your summit into a community, like a Facebook group, like a circle, the more traffic that you can get in there, the better, right? Because if you're getting a lot of posts into those groups and then Facebook goes and kind of reminds you that there's activity that you've missed, and that brings your eyeballs back into the community, which when it's live streaming then also reminds you, hey, wait, there's an event going on. I need to get back in there. So those daily submissions really, really help to drive up that activity inside of the group and get more engagement, get more eyeballs to come in. How are entrepreneurs like us daring bravely to build a stage, ditch the sweatpants, and step up to the mic? How do we create our own transformative events so we can get our message out into the world in a bigger way that's not only profitable, but it's actually something we can be proud of? That's the question. And the answers are inside this podcast. My name is Sarah Pfeiffer. Welcome to Green Room Central. If you're hosting an online summit and you want to increase engagement, this is for you. So we're going to talk about the magic of daily submissions, like what that is and how it can have a transformative impact on your summit. We're going to talk all about how daily submissions can elevate engagement, can foster a thriving community, and even make your online summit attendance increase. So let's dive in. This topic was really inspired by two things. First, watching how James Wedmore uses daily submissions and contests during a live virtual launch and inside of a Facebook group. And then also watching how Brendan Burchard inside of his summits, like Influencer Summit, will use a Facebook group, a pop-up, as a way of gathering guests and having them make daily submissions and using that as a way to drive up engagement in the summit overall. So let's get into the brass tacks of how and what this is, how to make it work for you. So first thing I want to talk about is there's two ways about this. First is utilizing community platforms. So that's things like Circle, that's things like Facebook groups, your online community. The second is leveraging existing social media channels with hashtags. So that's something like an Instagram, okay? So we're going to talk about how encouraging your guests to make daily posts on specific topics and share those with the community can help lead to increased visibility on your summit and also, in turn, increased engagement. And that's what we want, because that increased engagement gets more eyeballs on the summit and gets more butts in seats. So first thing we're going to talk about is building community engagement with daily submissions. So let's talk about the specifics of this. And I'm going to use the community example first. So we're going to talk about Circle and Facebook groups, wherever you have your community for the event gathered. And if you don't already have them gathered, I highly recommend that you create some sort of pop-up group and use a channel like Circle, like Facebook groups, to gather everybody. Okay. And the reason why I want you to do this is the next part of the strategy is about asking guests to take a daily action. And so that looks like having them do some homework and record a video of themselves and post it into the group. And usually you'll give them parameters on what to say and how long it should be. Or maybe it's a text post, or maybe it's a photo. I had one client do this in their pop-up event Facebook group when they're hosting their event over Halloween weekend. And one of the ways they wanted to engage guests, it was hybrid. So they had virtual guests and in-person guests, was to use their community, their Facebook group in this case, to have guests take a picture of themselves in costume because they're having a costume party in person at the event. And then they were also wanting the virtual guests to be able to participate. So they had them take a picture and submit it into the Facebook group. And then they put pictures in there of people in the in-person, Halloween party. And it really drove up engagement inside of that Facebook group, which when you're streaming your event, your summit into a community, like a Facebook group, like a circle, the more traffic that you can get in there, the better, right? Because if you're getting a lot of posts into those groups and then Facebook goes and kind of reminds you that there's activity that you've missed, and that brings your eyeballs back into the community, which when it's live streaming then also reminds you, hey, wait, there's an event going on. I need to get back in there. So those daily submissions really, really help to drive up that activity inside of the group and get more engagement, get more eyeballs to come in. So I've seen it done with the contest. I've seen it with a contest. Dean Graziosi is famous for doing this inside of his Facebook groups, having people share a lesson or an aha or a celebration and having them put that video within a certain amount of, a certain time period, a certain length. And we want to do that and put those parameters around the daily submissions so that people have kind of a box to work within. People love a box. People don't say they want a box, but they actually really love a box. I mean, who has gone to a Chinese restaurant and there's been hundreds of options and you feel this like pressure over what to do versus a place that's like, here, you've got like this preset menu and you got 5 choices for dinner, pick one. So that's why we want to use those parameters, those rules, the box for people around the daily submissions, and then make that call to action to get people to maybe it's to take an action. You want them to do something that makes them uncomfortable. Maybe you want them to share their aha, which would get more people interested in coming back the next day because they're like, wait, I missed that piece. I want to make sure I'm in the room for tomorrow so I don't miss out. So that's kind of how you use the daily submissions within a Facebook group or a circle within a community. And I'd share that you want to put parameters on it and be very specific with your call to action about what to do and when to do it. And then follow through on whatever you said you would do as your piece. Maybe you're going to do a submission to kick things off. Maybe you're going to give awards to people, like a random selection of people who posted something, but follow through with your end. And then I think you'll see a huge amount of lift in your engagement. So that's one, the building that community and engagement inside of a community. The next thing I want to talk about, the second thing is really harnessing the power of a platform like Instagram for increased engagement. So you'll take that same approach that we did up in number 1 with communities, where you're having people make a daily submission, you're giving them parameters, you're giving a clear call to action so they know what to do, when to do it, and then you're following through with whatever you said that you would do as a result, whether it's, giving an award away or making your own post. And then you'll do that same thing, but you'll have them do it on Instagram and have them use the hashtag, right? So then they'll make a post or they'll put it up in their stories, and then you'll be able to pull those down, and if it's a contest, do whatever, or repost. And this is the important piece, repost it to your stories during the event or make a reel out of it to really constantly be using that guest generated content as social proof and as FOMO inside of your stories. It's magical. And so I think that process of the reshare of those tagged posts and stories can really significantly boost engagement, not just on this event, but all those people on the periphery that are watching and couldn't make it into the room this time. They're not a registered guest, but they're paying attention. Make no mistake, they are paying attention. And this user-generated content that you're resharing is super powerful towards getting them in the room next time. So I want you to use this process of guest submissions, whether you're on a platform like Instagram or you're inside of a community like Facebook or Circle, to really drive that excitement and that curiosity among your followers and your guests. So the little thing I would tack on to the Instagram piece is you can go live. Let's say you're doing an online summit, it's inside of a Zoom or another platform like that. Well, you can go live on your Instagram and real low tech, and I've seen Gary Vee do this, and then have your camera set up and connected to the audio of like a laptop that is showing the more high-tech version of the summit, and then you're able to get more eyeballs on your summit, increase that engagement, get people with a call to action pinned in your comments on the live stream that shows people how to buy a ticket or get into the Zoom or whatever platform that is hosting your summit. And I know that seems totally janky and low tech, but it works. It really works. And I say if we have a free tool at our disposal to increase engagement, then we should be using it. And don't underestimate the power of extra eyeballs kind of peeking in on what's happening inside the room and fueling your engagement, not only on this summit, but on the next one. So try that for your next, try that live broadcast option on your next summit. Okay, so we've talked about using guest submissions inside communities. We've talked about using guest submissions inside of Instagram. We've talked about the going live piece with Instagram. Apply these same tactics to other social platforms if that's where your people are gathered, maybe it's LinkedIn and LinkedIn events. And I really want to encourage you to continue to use this guest engagement or this guest submission process as a way to amplify engagement and attendance through really integrating your summit with social media and community. I think it's an untapped resource and underestimated resource when it comes to engaging with summits. Summits tend to be a real low price point or a free thing, and they tend to have be longer duration and more speakers, and those are really prime events for people to pop in and pop out. And the reason why I like to use this guest submission concept is to just keep pulling people back in that have popped out. I mean, I've been that guest. I'm guessing you have too, where it's over a long period of time. Maybe it's probably virtual, and you're just kind of like cherry picking when to come in and come out. And so utilizing a live broadcast that is in a social platform and utilizing guest submissions, as we talked about, is just a couple more ways for it to be more top of mind, so that and almost like it's omnipresent, so that guests just keep coming back in, keep being reminded of the commitment that they made to themselves to show up for your summit. All right, I hope you're excited about using the guest submissions process. I want you as homework to go talk with your team, have a brainstorming session about, all right, what could we do? Could we do contests? Could we do aha videos? Could we do a photo contest? what could we do on a daily basis? This doesn't have to be hard. Just get your parameters set in place, be clear with your call to actions and housekeeping, follow through, and I know this will increase engagement for your next summit. So go forth and give it a try. Thanks for hanging out with me today. This has been fun. All right, make it an outstanding rest of the week. Take care. Thank you for listening to the Green Room Central podcast. If you loved this episode, then please take a screenshot on your phone and post it to Instagram, and be sure to tag @SarahPfeiffer and let me know why you liked it and what you'd like to hear or who you'd like to hear from in the future. That'll help me know what to create for you. The number one thing I'm asked by CEOs, whether it's their first event or their 20th, is, Sarah, how do I get more butts in seats? And so I put together a guide for you. Head over to fillingevents.com for your free copy of 107 ways to fill your event. I want to help you quickly master event marketing and fill your events, even if you've never done it before. I've scoured the online business world and found 107 of my favorite strategies working right now to fill your next in-person or virtual event. Create the event promotion plan you need from these easy-to-implement, customizable strategies for free over at fillingevents.com. I appreciate your commitment to leveling up and learning the mindset and strategy of live events. Keep going. Keep learning. If you want more, head over to greenroomcentral.com for show notes and all the links from today's episode.